pretty typical for my experience with these games, in terms of saw some things I was really, really pleased with, and then obviously there were some things that we need to work on. But I thought the guys overall played really hard and played very unselfishly, which that was something that I expected, but certainly something that we emphasized. And I thought our pace was good. I thought our defensive intensity, for the most part, was good. Second half, it lacked a little bit, I thought, but scoring became a little bit easier in the second half too. And sometimes, for whatever reason, human nature is those can go hand in hand. But I thought we shared the ball, and again, I thought that the first group was obviously very productive. The second group struggled a little bit in terms of sustaining the intensity and focus that we need, and was something that we addressed with them after the game. But I thought overall our guys did a good job, and we got quite a bit out of it.
So in terms of the rotation, in games like the exhibition games, do you tend to sort of be more, try to get everyone in there regardless, or is this a rotation where we're going to see at least for the early part of the year?
No, we won't. We won't have a rotation that's as liberal as the one we used tonight. Generally speaking, 9 guys play, and for us, and so we're still working on who's in the 9, and I think that we have 1 through probably 6 or 7 figured out pretty readily, and at least 6, and so we just have to get the rest of that ironed out, and unfortunately that means some guys that are fairly close to other guys aren't going to play as much, and that's never the fun part of being a coach, but that's just a reality. So we're going to have to get that ironed out this week, and talk to the team about it after the game, and so, but fortunately, when we needed those guys, the older guys to go back in and get stuff done, they were able to do it.
Were the 37 three-pointers part of the plan going in, and were you happy with most of the shot selection there?
You know what? I was pleased for the most part with the shot selection. We certainly took some bad shots, but I think that the high number of three-pointers is more of a function of how packed in they were defensively. They were in the lane and really, really packed in, and so those were the shots that were available to us, and if I look down and over half of our shots are threes, that's probably too many, but we still got to the foul line 25 times, and so we did other things. We offensive rebounded. Typically, I wouldn't want over half of our shots to be threes, but I kind of understood it because, again, they were, that's just the way they play defense. They play a very packed-in defense, and so it was hard to drive. It was hard to drive it and get it to the goal. It was hard to get post touches because they're in there swarming around and crowding the area. So we were able to get good looks from the perimeter, and we might have taken a few too many, but that's okay.
There's a couple questions. First opportunity to play in an actual game, granted an exhibition, but a game situation here at the Pete. Talk about, I guess, for you, how much of it does that help, I guess, as far as the comfort level, adapting to your new surroundings?
Well, it was nice to be out there and know which direction you have to walk to get to the locker room, and literally do some things for the first time today, go some places for the first time, and start getting a routine a little bit, which is interesting after 17 years of doing something another way, but it was fun to be out there. I really liked the environment. I thought the crowd was, I was really impressed with the crowd that we had for an exhibition game, so but I enjoyed being out there. I enjoyed it feels comfortable to me, I guess is the best way I can put it. It's nice to to be in a good spot, in a comfortable spot, but things are a lot more comfortable when you have four seniors that can play and play the way they did today.
And what Jamel was alluding to, I guess that was a scrimmage where the fans were here earlier. Now they're in an actual game situation. How much does an exhibition game in general help get your team ready for the season?
Well, I think I've always looked at exhibition games as glorified practices, honestly. But the players like them because you're playing somebody else, and the other team doesn't know your plays, and they don't know your calls, and so it's a lot harder in practice when you're playing against each other because everybody knows what's coming. So it's fun for them to get out in front of fans, and the good thing for me is we had the inter-squad thing a couple of weeks ago, and we did not play hard or well or anything, and so it's probably what Jamel was alluding to. But I thought that I thought today we played hard and played with a lot more intensity, especially on the defensive end, and so. You know, this is helpful because now we're going to be able to go back and look at some things, and when you put a crowd in stands and a different team, an opponent playing them, you get to learn some things about yourself, and I'm sure when we go back and watch the tape, we'll find out a lot of things that we need to know going into next Friday.
And how much, the other element with exhibition games, you have rule changes, the NCAA is de-emphasizing physicality, and they're going to be, it's a point of emphasis for them. Does it also help to the extent where now you're able to adjust your play according to the new rules?
Well, I think you have to, we've been learning the new rules for the last year or so, so I don't know that the exhibition game affects that so much. We did a poor job the first 10 minutes of the game of fouling, and then a great job the last 10 minutes of the first half. So we only put them on the foul line 4 times, but at the same time, they were overmatched a little bit physically and athletically. So hopefully our guys are adjusting to playing with officials.
You shot 47% in the second half, probably mostly against your bench. Is that a cause for concern?
Yeah, that was a little bothersome to me. And at one stretch they had scored nine times in 12 possessions, and that's just not. That's not going to be acceptable going forward. Now, when the first group went back in, we got 4 or 5 stops in a row and scored, and all of a sudden it went from 9 or 10 to 20 to 25 to 30, and so, yeah, that's a concern. It is, and the first group went in and worked hard to get a good lead, put us in a comfortable spot, and then the second group went in and kind of gave that up a little bit. And so, as I said, figuring out depth for us is probably job number 1 for next week, in addition to getting the rest of our schemes, things that we want to do, put in, and so that we can be ready to play whatever it is that we see.
You like Leahy?
Yeah, he played very well. When we knew it, we knew he could really shoot. And unorthodox, a little bit of an unorthodox player. He probably 6'8" or 9" and 240 pounds, but best thing he does is shoot threes, and he's got terrific range. And so they, just like we do, they've got a couple of trick plays where they can, you don't know what's coming because you haven't had a chance to scout, just like they didn't know what was coming with us, and they got us on a couple of those, and we failed to switch and do the things that we needed to do, but. Yeah, he did a real nice job, I thought.
Cam had the second most shots on your team today. Do you think he's going to be a guy that sort of you can rely to as like a third option for scoring, or even 3A along him and Sheldon? And
I hope so.
Yeah.
I really hope so. I think that all of those guys that start the game are very capable of having 15 or 20 points on any given night. So. Cam certainly is a guy that can shoot the ball. He's taken the ball to the basket. So we need his ability. But he had 6 assists and 1 turnover. I mean, that's also really good. And we've been trying to hide the fact with everybody, but it probably was pretty apparent tonight. Mike's really our point guard. He had 8 assists and no turnovers. So, but anyway. that was, I thought Cam did a nice job. He's pretty efficient, I thought, for what he was doing.